Alright, this is round 6. It is LaserVortex versus Ofnaught. We're playing on Silent Citadel, which is the sort of ice map. So just a quick look at the map. The 5 points, 1 in the middle, 2 on either side. We've got Ofnaught on team 1, LaserVortex on team 2. Some sportsmanship, nice and early. And it looks like Ofnaught has started to deploy, going largely for that point B. And then LaserVortex may be coming for a bit of a spread, 1 for each of the points. And a quick deployment after I kick the cat out of the room. And here we are on the ice belt. So let's have a quick look. We've seen something similar from Ofnaught before. Ofnaught being on team 1, Vortex on team 2. We've got the rail battleship, and so rail battleship, the VLS 23s on one side, Aurora's on the other. So it's going to be heading and flanking, using its maneuvering thrusters to get into position, and then the Texas being another rail battleship. Again, Aurora's on one side, point defense on one side, and then interruption jammers on another. So they're going to be providing the standoff firepower, and then using the block providing a locking and EWA capabilities. Then it looks like Cappy, Cap, and Cap over there will be providing a little bit of gun corvette, and point defense in terms of defenders, and VLS 23s are generally chaff. So these will be used to capture the points. Space Jam, that's a new one. 2 blanket jammers, and then PAR being a carbon copy down of block being locking and blanket jamming. And let's have just a quick look at Cap. So sacrificed one of the Mark 61s there, and the same as Cappy. So Ofnaught already moving into position, getting 2 of its, getting one of the positions, moving to D and E. Now, if we have a look at LaserVortex in the orange, nothing but reach, providing some missiles and some locking capability. I'll try and make sure I get them all. A early warning frigate, or sorry, it's a railgun destroyer with nothing else, so it looks like fairly bare bones supporting there, and a light cruiser with 5 guns, so it looks like a fairly stripped down build. So hopefully the 250s here will be able to take out these ships. Then we've got 3 beam destroyers in the middle. It looks like it has Auroras on the front and back, and then just beams, with a bit of blanket jamming on top. B is now captured. C is being captured. Then we've got another rail destroyer, and again supported with like the mirror image of locks and VLS 16. So these corvettes providing the locks for the light cruisers and for the rail destroyers. So with that said, let's just get into it. There are the point B has been captured by WSV Cap, which can move away. D is now being contested, so we've got the light cruiser in here with WSV Cap, but Cap is on the other side, so this is being locked down. C is being captured by Ofnaught, however it is now being contested by this light cruiser, and as we spoke about earlier, the 250mm RPF rounds are being used now to start to cause a little bit of damage. You can see that it's lost 2 of its guns there, and a couple more RPF hit. There would have definitely been some of the RPF rays hitting fairly close and penetrating there. And the rail battleships are now providing that covering fire over the top. So RZT, LaserVortex needs to capture this and get out. And it looks like he is counter capturing the light cruiser having a bit more staying power than the corvettes. And then we know over here that on point D it's being blocked out, point E and point A being captured by LaserVortex himself. And if anything, he wants to get this ship out and behind cover, so he doesn't get detected by these rail cruisers, with the rail cruisers, rail battleships, sorry, being committed to the right hand side of the field. That's going to give LaserVortex the freedom of maneuver over on the left hand side of the field, and if he can capture over here and be a little bit bolder, then he's going to be able to get those points. So it looks like point C down here, it looks like everyone's backing away from point C. Yeah, he's not in there, so he's out, but that gives Cappy the ability to move back in. But 2-1 at the moment, because C's being uncapped or is losing its capture points, and D is being held out. So the small lead from B quickly being eroded by LaserVortex.
The enemy is securing zone common.
And the question is, you know, what happens with this ship here? You know, it should be able to come down maybe a little bit. It's probably got a little bit of an ability to come down or across and actually put a few rounds onto that. If he has any of these 250 mils ready to go, he could be able to shoot this ship here. However, it did take some damage. You can see that it's taken some of its puncture holes there. And I think he swapped that out for one of his other ships. Yeah, he did. So he moved Cappy away. He moved Cap away and brought Cappy in. And that looks like it's, according to our screen, that says that the RZT in knowledge is destroyed. And that looks about it. The rail shots from, there's the space oil associated with this ship, are just providing too much damage over there. However, allowing everything over here now to continue to move. So with the fall of in knowledge, Cappy's been able to take point C, giving a 2-2 lead, just as LaserVortex comes out on front with 1 point. And we've still got this stalemate over at D. So it looks like they've found each other here. So no additional ships can provide support for Cap. So it looks like this ship here is just trying to get into that firing solution before it can put some rounds onto Cap. And if it can roll just a little bit more, these guns will be able to open fire, because they look like they're training and ready to do it. They're now just trying to get into position, and he wants to fire before he gets that ship gets away. Although by leaving the point, it'll capture point D, but you do want to take out these corvettes fairly early, so that you don't have to worry about them later in the game. Now point E up the top here is being contested. We've got some 120 mils from the Cap. There are some missiles here, so if they were Hurricanes, they could easily destroy this ship here. However, it'll be interesting to know eventually what he has. He is trying to get out of the line of sight of these battleships, which are poking around now, and with this broadside facing the enemy, these two battleships will quickly destroy that corvette. Let's check back in. And because he was unable to roll to bear, Ofnaught's managed to get Cap away and behind this point, which is quite frustrating, because you need to dance around the point but also stay in the point, so that you're able to continually cap it. So it'd be good if some missiles were able to destroy that, and probably a good reason for bringing Hurricanes, or a good argument for bringing Hurricanes. Or at least a couple of Hurricanes. You know, if you've Thunderheads are cheaper, but if you can bring one or two Hurricanes, they're really good for these types of scenarios. You know, for maybe 20-24 points, you can get 2 or 3. I think they're about 8 points each. The 120 is just missing there. Still neck and neck, where they're managing to kite out on both of these. The cap moving out and away, and it looks like the battleships here will now have the ability to open up. So no doubt that this ship here is providing the vision. It won't be able to provide a lock, but that's okay, because I think at this range and with that amount of firepower between those two battleships, it doesn't really matter.
The enemy is securing zone eclipse.
Yeah, there you go. So it looks like it's taken some strikes through the engine, and then you're getting the 120 in there as well. So point E will fall to Ofnaught. And but LaserVortex needs to clear out this position over here. This ship needs to die before he can get some points. And where's his rail destroyers? See, they haven't really made any impact in the game at the moment. They have the ability, I think both of them. Okay, so he's shooting that one at cap, but it's missed. Fair enough. Okay, so maybe he's rotating both of them around. Yeah, it looks like he is. So he's working out, okay, well, I'm going to take out this one. But the stationary target, without the lock, those railguns are missing.
The enemy secured zone eclipse.
And that's unfortunate because, you know, a cruiser for a corvette for a corvette would be a good trade. But none of the missiles I've seen were actually fired from here. So it looks like he wasn't able to get those missiles out, which means that ship died with all its missiles intact. And therefore, the better trade went to Ofnaught here, as this ship is likely cheaper than the ship that it was firing. Now, Wisdom imparts strength is starting to fire some missiles. We've got two Thunderheads sort of just being fired off into space. I wonder if they will curve anywhere, if they will, for example, maybe rotate up to get one of these corvettes. Or if he's simply just testing what these battleships can do. They look like they're definitely fired at the battleships, and we've got the point defense coming in, easily destroying. Texas here looks like it has not only taken out a corvette, but it looks like it has also destroyed one of these railgun destroyers. So that leaves to oversee and protect being the only one left. You can see the rails just over penetrating there. So we've still got the beam ships down here. Point B is being captured, so and D is still being stalled. So it is still 2-2 with a slight lead here to Ofnaught, but we're finally getting some Thunderheads now out on the cap. The cap does have a VLS 23s, so I'm expecting a chaff and dodging maneuver here. And just as it looks like nothing is beyond our reach exploding. So yeah, there we go, we got chaff. And this is why I think that the Hurricanes could be great for smaller ships. So maybe try that out in your future games. You bring a couple of Hurricanes to deter or take out these smaller ships. Whatever it did, he did manage to get some RPF rounds into that breach. There he goes, just hitting over the top. Definitely getting some rays from the damage being hit into there. Doesn't look like it took any damage though. Alright, but he's found it. In the middle of the map, we've got these two ships. The VLS 23s here need to be firing. Sorry, the VLS 16s here need to be releasing their missiles. I really think this is a couple of Hurricanes on each ship. Certainly do seem to be the thing that needs to be taken. However, like all good things, you know, that's a trade-off. You either bring in less Thunderheads or you bring in more other things. So we're with both ships sitting in the middle. It looks like Blue's still continuing to capture, so I'm wondering, has he used the missiles and we just haven't seen it? And he is actually, or if it's damaged, what's got on fire, maybe it can't capture, because that would be the hallmark here. They're both in the middle of this, they're both in the control point. Cappy's able to capture it and has succeeded so in doing so, so it's now 3-1. If there was a fire or something that, or no offensive capability here, that would explain why that ship is unable to, that would explain why that ship is unable to destroy that. And the Thunderhead looks like it was jammed or waypointed. It's a very weird waypoint. The railgun battleships now are coming in from the top. They've just got really good angles here. Yeah, I think this one got jammed, likely by one of these. Point D being captured by Ofnaught himself. Again, a little bit weird. That's point D. It should be being captured by Orange, unless my screen's wrong.
We are contesting zone dagger.
Okay, it looks like our screen was a little bit wrong because that changed from blue to orange, unless my eyes mistaken me. We've got the beams now breaking from their hiding spot. Now, where they go is going to be important, because if they come up here, they're going to be shot as they cross this terrain. And if they come, you know, using this terrain and come around, they're going to be shot through here. So the arcs of fire for these two battleships are mutually supporting, and that's what you want in these sort of fire support roles. So we're going to be able to start shooting there. And if we come over here, yeah, he's got lines of fire as well. So, you know, between the two of them, they should be able to take out one each. And then whatever's left with the other one is that's done. Both rail DDs are gone now. Looks like WSV Cap was also hit by some of those missiles. So point A is going to revert back to orange. Point D is still being uncontested this whole game, and this is just one ship here is doing great work with being able to continually reposition itself around this one asteroid that is providing cover and forcing this light cruiser to really be held up and not provide an impact anywhere else in the game. Block looks like it's doing a run sort of maybe up the center. Doesn't really have anywhere to go fast or anything like that. And these beams are pretty much unattacked yet. Here we go. Yeah, there we have that. The 2 degrees of fire here from both of the battleships will now start to make, I think, short work of these beams. And it looks like one's getting shot from the side, and then it's also getting hit in the front. Battleship here, rightly so, starting to back up, creating that space between the two. And how far is that? It's hard to say. I wish we had like a range tool as a commentator. Boldness be my friend, making a dive down to point B, taking up the opportunity to capture this. Again, I haven't really seen any missiles be fired from it, so was it equipped, was it not? It's hard to tell. But we're starting to go point B. It is still open to Cappy coming back with the 120s, and this battleship here firing down into the destroyers. Ofnaught still maintaining a fairly healthy lead of about 100 points. And with the capture of point B, it'll still be 2-2. Looks like the frontal beam here has been destroyed, or at least temporarily incapacitated. You can see it from the all the different fire. So now's the time to, I think, switch target. You don't want to. Oh, yep, there it goes. So it's destroyed. It'll proc on the rest of the screen in a moment. So switching targets, focusing down the next one. Spreading a bit of the damage is also maybe not a bad thing. You might be able to take out a little bit of both. Even one beam can sort of cause a bit of issues if it gets closer, but you know, each time you remove one of these beam destroyers, its capability overall becomes significantly less. So the downside with beams is that every time that they drive at their opponent, you are really subjecting the beam here as to be the main focus of the attack, and usually the quickest one to die. So if you don't have enough, you know, DC to keep the ship alive, you can lose them pretty quick if you're not playing smart. And whilst they are sort of easy to do, it's to play in theory. It's like all good things, you know, you have to actually play with them to understand. So second one just being destroyed, and Beware Our Sting now pushing out and away, getting itself behind some sort of cover, but it is fairly in the open, and I don't think it's going to get away from, it's not going to get to either of these battleships, which are, you know, really far away. Boldness be my friend. VLS 23 taken out. No, it's still functioning. I'll have to ask him after this game, you know, what was the go there. Because in theory, it's a good ship build. But with B in the center, it looks like it has no offensive capability, so it's not able to take point B. And with the other ship with offensive capability sitting there, it's not going to go down. Cap down here, looks like it's starting to take a bit of damage. You can see the bolt holes over the engine, some over the left hand wing, and then you got some compartments here in the middle. But, you know, berthing, you could put an armored component in there for free as well, just to provide a bit of damage. Whatever's hit this ship, which is interesting because there's not too much that was actually, you know, focusing at it. It's definitely taken some thruster fire. Maybe it was some missiles, but it's going to be able to get there again. It needs to start rolling now. 2-2, almost 200-point lead. And Ofnaught just maintaining that micro of that small ship, which I think has been a massive, massive win here for him. Because every time this light cruiser moves, he's effectively tied up this light cruiser on point D for this whole game with that one ship. That's it. LaserVortex has 2 ships left. It looks like this one has no offensive capability, and this one is basically already damaged. He's now got the ability to move all of his ships, as he looks like he is, to start to engage this light cruiser, because there's nothing left. He just needs to get in there and capture these points, and that's game. Probably clear fire from this one. Space oils tells you it's dead. It's still moving by the looks of it, so, you know, if you are a player, I would continue to shoot at this as well, but with the lifeboats coming out of a DD or 1161. I've never noticed before that that's probably its actual designation. They never, I can't remember them ever actually showing the, what if it's a track number or the, I'll have to ask on that one because that's cool. It'd be cool if the lifeboats, alright, so that's called. In the final moments, D was finally captured but then destroyed. E being captured back, you know, a healthy lead. Alright, so convincing victory for Ofnaught here. Let's have a look. Block and cap. Yeah, he lost cap about halfway through, but that's okay. Otherwise, the rest of his ships were fine. Look at it. There's hardly any damage here on any of his ships. You know, damage received 0. The cap took a few, but that's okay. Cappy took a little bit, but that's okay. No damage on any of the battleships. Sorry, any of the battleships down here. Actually, I'll eat my words. It was 456, and that's a very small amount, maybe like 1 rail. LaserVortex, on the other hand, okay, cool. So it does look like it says the DD numbers do measure, or the numbers of the ship tell you the track number, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, Beware Our Sting. So one of the beams was destroyed. Boldness be my friend. Surrendered, eliminated. Explore. Surrendered at the end. Damage received 0. I don't remember seeing that ship. Knowledge that his opportunity died at the beginning. Did this one die? Oh, because he would have surrendered, that's why. Received no damage, but he just couldn't do anything with it. Eliminated, eliminated. Okay, so there was still... There was no offensive capability, so some of the capture point stuff was interesting then. Alright, well that's another game, and good win by Ofnaught there. You know, good try by LaserVortex. It looked like Ofnaught's ship build there was just able to take it out, and I wonder what was going on with the missiles on those corvettes. I'll find out and try and pin that on the comment. Alright, take care.